Hello and welcome to AdLamb. I'm Adam, and in today's touring car deep dive we're going to be looking at the Honda Civic Type-R. So for the first race we're not going to show qualifying because we're back at Laguna later on, so it wasn't a good lap as you can see, 1:35, and we're not going to show much of this race. We're actually going to have 3 races in today's episode. You'll see why shortly. I get a reasonable start. Obviously the VW, for some reason, that VW is awesome off the launch, so I don't know how he got such a bad start. Didn't know where that guy was up my inside. But there he goes, in the MG. I get spun around, which was just the story of my life last week. This last week before Update 6 came out. Didn't matter where I qualified, I was going backwards into out of turn 1 or 2 in this case. So here he was slow, forced me narrow there, which unfortunately meant I was slow out of the corner. So going up the hill he gets in front of me. Like I said, I was holding my line, he cut across me, which then, yeah. And I got that penalty. I felt it was a bit harsh. And I said this was before Update 6, so imagine what it would have been after the update. But that was literally it. The rest of the race was boring as fuck, so moving on. There we go, we finished 16th comfortably. Guy behind was seconds, the guy ahead was seconds, so yeah. Anyways, move on to race 2, and we're at Daytona. I will show you the qualifying here. So braking zone is just after that last white line on the banking. And here it's going full throttle. During qualifying, we want to look off to the right for the little slip road where the cones are. Just as you see the cones, hit the brakes. Didn't quite get it turned in. Again, stock tune, remember, so it's not going to be quite as bitey in the corner as I would like, ever. So here, this is comfortably full throttle, and then we're looking for the end of these cones, or the end of that little slip road on the left. Got a bit of understeer once I put the power on, that's why I didn't quite hit the apex there. End of the slip road here, or the start of it, should I say, from the perspective of where you're approaching it. And then we just power on round here. This is like a good 20 seconds of just there. Just looking at the timer now. Okay, so we're getting close to 20 seconds already. So we're looking for this. That's the first green light. We want the second one. Here it comes. There you are. Down to 4th. And then we do flick to 3rd. I think 79 was the slowest I got down there. So on softs in qualifying trim, yeah, 75 is 79 even. Could probably even get higher than that. So I felt like that was a little slower than I would have liked to have taken it. But anyway, power off around the final corner, up towards the line, and we are about 6 seconds off of pole, but that was good enough for 4th place. So off we go, and this is a case of making sure we don't slide down the banking. So now there's a guy at my inside, so I'm giving him room, keeping it tight, but that Focus, the Civic even, not him, he was the guy that was alongside. We'll have trouble with him later though. It's this guy behind with the X. Hey. I don't want to know, but anyway, as you saw there, the flag before the light on the left, I find that's because that's a permanent braking point, you know, cones can disappear. Like brake markers can, as I find out later. But anyway, nothing really happened. We're just going to skip to lap 3. Anyone would have seen this on the short. So again, we're looking for the second green light. I do get it a bit wrong. Back end is a little happy to come round there, so a bit slow, but he hits me here, and then I was literally holding my line, and then he turned into me, and once we were stuck together, there's nothing I could do about it. But anyway, I'm going to jump to a replay of me going through the replays, so I'll be back in a minute. So here we are on the replay. So we're on board with the guy that I had the incident with at the bus stop, Le Mans chicane, whatever they want to call it. So we just skip forward to the important parts, i.e. every time the same guy goes through this corner, and what we're looking for is his minimum speed through the corner, and obviously at the incident his steering angle right as we hit each other. So I'll skip forward to the important parts. So here we are, coming up to the chicane now, and see what his minimum speed through the corner is. Okay, so about 82 miles an hour minimum there. Right, so this is the one where he hits me. After he hit the wall. There. Oh. And there's that. So let's see if I get the controller. I'll probably, yeah, we'll do it this way. I wasn't actually paying attention to the steering coming out of there. So there's the timing. Okay, let's actually look at it from mine. Change driver, that's what I want. Yeah, look, watch my steering. I can see it already. See, I never changed my steering. So he tried pinching me and it just didn't work for me. That's the gist of it. So I know I was a bit slow in that corner, but still, he hit me, so I don't know how that's my fault, as people said in the short. He was behind. At the end of the day, it's down to him to not hit me, not the other way around. There's nothing I can do about the guy behind me not hitting me, but he was trying to, that window, that it was always going to close. Like, we're racing at the end of the day. I ain't gonna lift, so he needs to give me space. He didn't give me space. He spun himself. So, like, for those on the short who seem to think that I pit maneuvered him, as you could see from my steering angle, at any point did it change? No. Because I didn't do anything to spin him. He just tried to chop my nose off, and he didn't have the room. So he did it to himself. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I still feel like it's his fault. As you can see, my steering angle was straight. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't turning into him, even though it looks like it when I come off the contact, but I really wasn't. The steering angle shows you I wasn't. So anyway, on to the final lap, turn 1, I hit the brake point. There's a slight bit of contact with this guy here. I wasn't like, if I could have just kept that slide, that would have been perfect, but sadly it then switched. The guy I took out though nearly T-boned me there, just because the car was all over the place, so that wasn't the safest of rejoins. But look what he does here to the other guy. Just bash, straight over the grass, straight into him, sends him flying into the grass here. So it wasn't just me. So for those people on the shore, no, he was just an absolute tool. Coming from way too far back, like he was well over a second behind me into that corner. I know I got it wrong, but he was coming from like 1.2, 1.3 seconds back. He really shouldn't have hit me that hard. But anyway, going into our hot lap, again we're looking for the 100 board, but we're going to go over the stats. So yeah, it's again a front wheel drive, front engined, 2 litre, turbocharged inline 4, 355 horsepower, 265 kilowatts. Torque is 324 pound-foot of torque, which is 439 newton meters of torque. I just want to see what the checkpoint thing is here. So we're up here by 0.1, so that's fine. And the weight, sorry, is 1,305 kilograms, which is 2,877 pounds. Again, if you get this right, it's full throttle once you hit the power on the second part of the coup, and it just feels so good when you get that right. Rivage, getting down to second. Could have gotten the power a little earlier, but not too bad. This one again, it's a case of no name, just again I couldn't get the power on when I wanted to. Pouon, now it felt good going through Pouon, and I think this was my best run of the entire race. So one final thing, you're noticing that we've obviously got all the little timer things coming up at the bottom, which you only get when you're either in Rivals or you're doing a test drive in single player. So what you do is you load up the game as a test drive, you do a single lap, you go back to the menu, and then you change the settings to a race, and you get all those things at the bottom still. I fluked it last week with the focus video. It wasn't until actually I'd finished editing the video and I was proof watching it that I actually noticed it. And I went, how did I do that? And then I thought, oh, I did this. And then when I tested it for this one, same thing happened. So that's how you do it. You want to do a race, but you want the little timer things to be up there. Do a test drive, do a lap, then quit to the menu, and you'll be able, and then just change it to a race, and it'll be fine. So yeah, here, all the braking points are the same. I think we're just about to have the times we're looking for. So we're looking for the MG. I think that's the one. Obviously, we've already beaten the VW's time. Again, the touring cars haven't gone to Spa, so I haven't been able to check it. But there we go, a 2:37.139. So a couple of tenths off the MG. But as I say about the VW, we're still waiting for Spa to come back onto the rotation, so I can actually do a qualifying lap in that and see. We'll go to our final race. So this is the only race of today's episode since update 6. What we're going to do here, we're looking for the 3 board there, just before the cones. Clip that apex. Clip this one. You want to kind of say between 45-50 mile an hour really. Down to 2. Once I've tuned this car, I think I'll be keeping that in 3rd. But with the stock tune, it needs to go to 2nd. Here, lift about 150, turn at 1. Onto the power around about the apex, maybe just after. If you get it right, it'll be just before, you'll know. Here you want to get down to 3rd at the 2 marker is your braking point. And then we're powering up towards, I don't know what this name is called, this corner's called even. It's a 2 board anyway, flick it in, up to the corkscrew. It's like an elevator or something silly like that. So again, with this one, you have to brake a bit, jam shift, go over the crest, lift whilst you're going over the crest, and then back on the brakes. I flick it down to 1st, but then I flick it back up to 2nd. Here it's a case of just lifting. I had to get a 2nd point there, because otherwise I was going to hit the sausage. Here we're looking for that 2 board. That 2 board is very important. So at the end of the slip road entry point, that's kind of what I have to do going forward. You'll see why later on. So out of final turn, and I say this qualifying lap much better than the first time, 1:33.5. So that was 5th at the time. but 7th ultimately by the time the race got going. So on the start, I was kind of worried about this Focus, the way he was moving over, but I think it got to a certain point he realised I was there, so he gave me the room. And we have the tool here, Captain Horns. You'll see later why he's a tool now. I may even upgrade that, we'll see. There's a lot of contact here going on, but it's turn 2 on the first lap. I don't know how I managed to keep the speed up going over the sand, but I did, which is all really good. I did think about going up the inside here, but again, this corner is not a corner. You're not losing enough speed. I thought that was just going to end in disaster, so I lifted and thought better of it. This is where my race becomes a cropper. Right there. So I tap the guy in front with the right front. Guy behind taps my rear left like a split second afterwards. That was enough to send me round. So we're continuing on anyway for the rest of this lap. We will come back to a replay of that and you'll see exactly how that happened. Coming up to the corkscrew here. Yeah, that guy, I don't understand. He seems to just way over his brake there. Because it didn't look like he braked early. I didn't brake late, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But anyway, he ended up touching the guy in front and sending himself off into the sand, so he's no longer a concern. Again, the 3 marker here wasn't quite perfect, which is why the MG manages to start to pull it away from me as we go on to lap 2. So as we cross the line, we will go back to the replay of the incident that sent me round in turn 5. So I thought he braked a little early, but yeah, that was essentially it. I tapped the guy in front and he hits me, and the thing is though, some people just keep their foot in it once they hit you. This becomes a common theme, by the way, I've noticed. So he brakes early, he then turns out towards me, because I was braking in a straight line, I hadn't even started to turn in yet, and yet he manages to hit me. Hey ho, so around the next corner, he's really slow through that corner, so fortunately nothing came of it, but he was, yeah, not carrying anywhere near enough speed. We've got a few people coming back on, so there's a guy coming on here. That rejoin isn't the worst. Like, people could see him coming. MG I thought was going to go up the inside. All I did was compromise myself by leaving him room, sadly. Up towards the corkscrew, there's another guy there, so we go around him, hit the braking zone. Spot on, yep. Actually, I think that's a really good run through though, quite happy. But we skip forward a lap and we see some drama here. So we saw the guy that went spearing into everyone at turn 2 on lap 1. And this is the white car in front. Well, the guy that's just got off there, the white and blue one and red. He's now at the back of this group. I get slightly compromised with that little bit of contact because he can't give me enough room. So I leave myself here. Keep myself tight going into the final corner. Again, there's a little bit of contact there, but again, no biggie, whatever. I cut off here, I'm like, no, you're going round. But he's still quite insistent that he wants to go up my inside. But again, it's like, no, you're going round. I'm not giving you any room. I hit the apex nicely. Quite get on the power I'd like, but as you saw with the MG behind, he suddenly reappears because he went T-boning into turn 2. I will show a replay of him doing that because it leads to this. Yeah, I mean, here we go. So you can see in the background, look at him spearing in there, hits the guy there just out of camera shot, which is what then sends the pastel coloured MG off as well. Turn 3, I go wide, this is on me. You can see he's erratic, he's sliding around all over the place, and then he just goes for a gap that doesn't exist. Doesn't look like we hit there, but I think that maybe that's a replay issue, not necessarily an in-game issue. So yeah, it is what it is. So we're coming up to the corkscrew, only a few corners later, and oh look who's off to the right there with the black and yellow MG. So I end up going a little wide here. Fortunately, just touched the sand and I go in it. But it obviously does, I do lose a lot of time to the cars ahead now, because just how badly I took that part of the corkscrew. But fortunately, this Peugeot had a little incident in the final corner, so I have someone to chase for 11th place. On to the final lap, and you'll see the same as before. I got the outside, I'll quite happily do that. But again, he just turns into me. I haven't even started turning yet. Our little friend is now behind, so he's lunging everyone. It's really helping him out. He obviously thinks, oh, I can catch him, because look what happens here. He thinks, oh, I'm on it. He gets onto the power way too soon, and off into the sand he goes. So, coming up to the corkscrew now, and this is obviously the build-up to our incident. I felt like this little incident here, this is bits on him, because look, I go look right, and he just comes back across. But you know, whatever. Like, no harm, no foul there. This is on me, and I'll explain why this is on me in a moment. But so I accept that's my fault, 100%. That's totally my fault. My brake board was missing. So as you'll see on this replay, as we come around this corner, we're looking, as I say, at the end of the slip road. There should be a 2-board right there, but it's not. As you can see, it's in the middle of the slip road. Further back has been here. So, and this is from his perspective, or their perspective. I shouldn't assume genders, should I? But coming up here, you can see the board is all the way up there in the slip road. So someone hit it. I didn't know it was missing, so that's what I was looking for. And then when I'm looking for a brake marker from behind another car, it wasn't really going to help. So this is obviously his chase cam view. And there it was, and there he goes. So apologies. I mean, like I said, you were a bit robust in your defence at turn 2 and in other places. To be honest, some of it I didn't show, but I did see incidents with other people. That's why he had loads of penalties anyway. But anyway, well deserved 4-second penalty for me, but because of the amount of penalties around me, I actually gained a place. So I ended up finishing 8th. Sadly, I lost a place overall from where I qualified, but do you know what? It was a fun race. I think the penalty system's really gonna split everyone apart, and I may not get an S-Class again, and it might be an A rating for a while. To be fair, that race bumped me down to a B, so it killed my rating. But hey, on the car, nice car to drive. I said the same thing with the Focus. The back end is a little light up at the corkscrew. I think that's your real testing point for any car's back ends, if you can keep the brakes on. I can tell you for next week's episode, or this Friday's episode, because this Friday is my 40th birthday, by the way. So I will be uploading the next video, which will be the Astra. And the reason it will be the Astra is because the Astra is actually the car I have. It's the car I own at home, you know, that I drive every day. So I've already driven that round Laguna, and it can do that. I can keep the brakes on as I go over the crest in that car, no problem. But anyway, I digress. So that will be on Friday. Otherwise, as I said, this car is nice. Probably won't be using it a huge amount. It is the heaviest car, and you can tell. That's all I will say. But that will be it for this one. So if you enjoyed the video, do hit the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, do consider subscribing. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.